Think Globally, Act Locally. And we have a very special panel. We have a couple of guests here. Please, you guys please stand and come to the front. We have a Miss Sophia James, who is the New York Chairman of Young and Powerful. We also have Flora Sakra, who's also former president of SPAM, Columbia University. And we have Goretti Ross, who's also from International Youth Council, who sits on the executive board. Thank you, guys. Okay, so one thing I want to mention, you guys, got one rule here, okay? While the panels are on stage, please stay seated, okay? Because this means a lot to me for you guys to understand what's going on stage, all right? And feel free, if you have any questions, just raise your hand. We don't have to ask away at the end. If you have a question, raise your hand, we'll answer it, all right? All right? Yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm a little militant, so if I get a little out of hand, let me know too. Okay, so Think Globally, Act Locally or Think Global, Act Local is a program that was initiated by International Youth Council, which is all about helping young people, especially U.S. students, to become more globally minded or build on their global perspectives about the world. How many of you guys have ever traveled outside of the world? I mean, outside of the country? All right. Ooh, this is going to be really good. Okay.
Where?
Where? You right there, yes.
Mexico, Trinidad, and
Woo! Go ahead.
Mexico, Canada, Guatemala, and El Salvador.
All right. One more. Purple.
Go.
Go ahead. In front.
Jamaica, Canada.
Very good. Very good. Well, yes. Very no. So the good thing about this presentation is to teach kids how to actually study, to actually travel abroad. But not only to just travel abroad, but take on opportunities abroad, like study abroad or volunteer abroad. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys just pretty much just traveled. But there's ways you can also go to class abroad or volunteer. Like we have a special guest here from New Future Foundation, his name is Ijoma, who actually volunteered abroad after the 2010 Haiti earthquake. So those are the kind of things that we're trying to get more U.S. students involved, especially students of minorities. So what I'm gonna do is go to the next slide, and I'm gonna show you an example of how we actually tackle this kind of issue. As you can see, we have Dare to Dream, who actually visited the United Nations for the first time. Okay, so the question is, what is the United Nations? Does anybody know what the United Nations is? All right. You in the back. Go ahead. All right, good answer. Anybody else? I saw another hand. Good. Did anybody understand what she meant? Okay, good, good. So United Nations, pretty much a body of member state organizations that are actually located in New York that discuss a range of issues that involve world affairs, such as poverty, climate changes, security issues, you name it. So how the United Nations works is that a whole bunch of diplomats come in and discuss different ways on how they can tackle different issues. So, but the honest truth about the United Nations is that a lot of people don't really know about the United Nations. So what we did was, in this situation, we actually invited Dare to Dream to actually participate at a youth assembly at the United Nations. We did pretty much like a pilot program in January. As you can see, Ayana brought one of her participants there. She loved it, she enjoyed it, and we want to actually open up this opportunity for you guys to attend in August. How many of you guys would like to come to the United Nations in August? All right, we're going to make that happen for you, all right? All right. So, United Nations also is a tool that I want you guys to utilize on how to build your global perspectives. As you can see in this picture here, this young lady is learning about different issues around the world. So this is what I would like for you guys to do as well when you're coming to United Nations. And then on top of that, you're seeing young people get involved in these kind of things. Not old people. Aren't you sick and tired of old people telling us what to do? It's time for you guys to take that chance and build on your voice and learn about these type of issues. So, United Nations is where it's going to be at this August. Now, the one way on how you can build on your global perspective in life is obviously to study or volunteer abroad. But I want to tell you some good things on why it's so important. I have a list of reasons here, right? How many, let me see, who wants to read off one of the reasons why it's good to study abroad? Okay, young man, go ahead.
New culture.
Okay, learn a new culture. Go ahead.
New language.
All right, a new language. Go ahead.
Gateway to learn about jobs.
Yeah, you know you can actually apply for a job abroad as you get older. I mean, I know this might be something that you're not thinking of at this age, but this is definitely something I want you guys to think about now because it's never too late. Okay? Go ahead, next one.
Competitive edge among your peers.
All right, so if you have actually studied or volunteered abroad, that makes you stand out among your peers, especially among U.S. students. And we're going to find out the reason why. Sophia's going to tell you why. All right? Sophia, go ahead.
Wow, what I... Okay. Can you hear me, guys? You can just grab it. Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Is it working?
Yeah, it's working. Mm-hmm.
All right. I want to first let you know, guys, that studying abroad, it's possible and it's absolutely necessary for you guys, which you have already said to us that you have explored the world with your own family. So I think that's absolutely awesome. So you are a step ahead of the game. What I definitely want to tell you is that about 80% of study abroad students are your Caucasian peers. So that means that there's a higher percentage of them traveling the world versus people like us, people of color, who have chosen not to study abroad. And it says here that blacks comprise 4.2% of study abroad students, but are 13.5% of the college population. So that means even though there's a lot of us attending college, we don't tend to leave our college campus. We just want to stay in the comforts of our classrooms and we're afraid to go outside of the classroom and explore the world. And some of those reasons have been for either we're worried about if we're able to afford to travel, because traveling can be expensive. So as young people, we're afraid we don't know if we can afford this. Am I going to have lots of loans and money to pay back if I go to another country? Fear of racism, okay. They're afraid they'll be discriminated against if they go travel to another country. Will people like me? How will they treat me? Worries about delayed graduation. So people who go study abroad, they're afraid if they miss out on classes that they won't be able to graduate on time. So they're really worried about not not wasting that time. They want to graduate on time. And few role models. So another fear is that young people of color don't have connections to people who are traveling abroad, someone to explain the process to them. So when I said you guys are a little bit ahead of the game, you have traveled the country where you have positive influence. You're not afraid to leave the comfort of New York or the United States. And some people are afraid of doing that. They don't have sort of the support and people telling them they can do it. So you guys already know that you can travel the world. You've done it with your families. So that's why I say you are a step ahead of the game in that. Another thing I want to just tell you that people who have traveled abroad, they have said that they gain self-reliance. So can someone explain to me what self-reliance is? Do any of you know what self-reliance is? Go ahead, tell me what self-reliance. What do you think that is? part of it. That's part of it. Yes, very good. Being able to depend on yourself, okay? When you do travel abroad, you are gaining your own independence. You don't have to depend on anybody to do your laundry or to do your homework or do any of those things. You have to do it yourself. So that's a very good explanation. Being able to stand on your own 2 feet, and cook your own food and go to the store and buy your own things. So that's very important. And independent thinking, okay? That means that you can make your own decisions for yourself. When you travel on your own, you are thinking about yourself and the things that you need, okay? What clothes you need to carry, what your academic work, because when you study abroad while you're in school, you're also still taking care of your academics. So you're still doing homework and writing reports. So while you're there, you're also continuing your education. And valuable job skills. As Asher said, you're definitely developing things that you can adapt to your future jobs, okay? Right now, when you start working eventually, traveling the world will give you language skills. You maybe be able to speak another language if you don't already. And people think that it's very important for you to travel out the world. They want to know that you have different experiences, okay? They think that's terrific. They think that it adds to whatever job that you want to do. So that's very important. That's something that you guys can start thinking about, as you're traveling with your family, and when you start getting older. These are some things that you can think about.
Well, I'm going to tell you about the job market now and how it's going to look later. All right? Because all you guys want to get paid and make good salaries, right? Right? We all want to get rich, right?
Yes.
Not through the lottery.
Yeah, not through the lottery, right? Well, one way to do it, I'm telling you this right now, learn a new language is very, very important now. Especially in New York, Spanish is huge. In the U.S. government, Arabic is huge. Chinese is huge, or y'all can say Mandarin. French is huge in the United Nations. So not only while you're learning now, which is the best time to learn, I'm going to tell you, when you're young, it's the best time to learn a language. But keep advancing in that level, and you'll be a phenomenal, I'm telling you, by the time you get my age. All right? So now we're going to move on to products of Think Global, Act Local. People that have actually studied abroad and how it has impacted them as far as getting jobs and their credentials. So I'm going to move on to Foda Sakai. Fode, I'm sorry. Fode?
That's good.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's very good.
Fode has an amazing story to tell you guys. I'm just really impressed. He's originally from Liberia. And I'm telling you, please sit in your seats and listen to this. Because what I tell you right about now, there's hope in this world. All right? Here we go.
How you guys doing today? Hello?
You bring the mic. You can just take it out.
There we go. So, as Ms. Asha said, Fode Sakor, originally from, Liberia, came from, my country fought a 14-year civil war. So, growing up, my family and I, we had to, sell, soap in local markets. We weren't as fortunate as, those, of my counterparts like you guys were in school today. We had a lot of ethnic cleansing and killing going on in my country, where we lost a lot of family members. But at the age of 13, had the opportunity to come to the United States, and I started middle school in Jamaica, Queens, as a matter of fact, and then left from Jamaica, Queens, and then did did high school in Maryland, and then college over there too. One of the things that I realized was, having already, seen myself as a global citizen, living in Ivory Coast, Ghana, Guinea, and Kenya, and a lot of these countries where I had to travel and learn so many different languages, I saw myself as a global citizen. So when I came to the United States, I said, how do I localize my efforts, right? So one of the things I did, the only way you can localize your efforts, you have to work hard, right? And you have to diversify yourself. You must learn different languages, differentiate yourself from the person that is next to you, right? Because if I'm going to offer you a job opportunity, what makes you different from that person, next to you? When I applied for scholarship, I won 6 to 7 different scholarships that covered my entire college tuition. Who here wants to go to college for free? Everybody, right? But one of the things that they will make sure on those college applications, they will be asking you guys is what makes you different from the other person. All of you guys have had the opportunity to travel to different countries. That's a plus. These things will take you guys far, right? So, for me, so far, being at like Columbia University, I've had the opportunity to head to Kenya, where I advise private equity firms. Who here knows what private equity firms, what they do? Do you guys know what a private equity firm does? Basically, what they do is they raise roughly 100 to 150 to $1 billion, and they manage that money for a group of investors, right? So I had the chance, because I could speak different languages, I was selected among a group of students to go and advise these individuals. And this is something that will lead to a job following graduation, right? And then, after that, I've been called upon by the United Nations, where I delivered several keynote speeches there. And then just one of the things I just want you guys to know from this is that you must show people you're serious about your career and your development, right? And that distinguish yourself from your peers, and then you will soar to new heights. But just to keep it brief, I actually wrote a longer speech for you guys, but realized that I just need to probably keep it short. And if you have any questions, I've had the opportunity to manage companies internationally too as well. So if you guys who want to be entrepreneurs, you guys want to own your own businesses one day, talk to me. I'll be glad and happy to help you guys. But thank you very much.
Fode, I want you to explain to me this picture behind you.
Well,
what does it symbolize?
Well, this picture for me, this was when I went back to Liberia. So basically after a young boy leaving Liberia, surviving the Civil War, I came over here to the United States. I succeeded, made it to Columbia University. When I got accepted, I went back. And for me, this is symbolic because this was the future, right? I was looking out into the distance, the next steps, and I was calculating and thinking, how am I going to continue to differentiate myself from the rest of my peers so that I can continue to succeed? And, this is what this picture symbolizes to me. So, if you guys are able to do that, just make sure that you can explain to others and you can articulate in your college applications, your essays, and job applications, what makes you different from the rest of your peers.
Thank you. What makes you different? That's a very good point. What makes you different? And that symbolizes it. Because what you see, what's growing right in the middle of that right there? Just a piece of plant.
That's a plant.
Yeah, plant. It's a piece of plant.
A lone plant.
A lone plant. Well, that's actually a coconut tree. So in my culture, what's symbolic about that is, as it grows, your career continues to grow, and it's very hard to see, a tree like that, being planted in the country at such a young age, at such a early stage. So for me, it was very symbolic of my next steps in life when I was about to start Columbia and looking at how I will conquer the world. So.
Very good. Thank you. I want to tell you something that's very special about Fode and really touches me. When he was your age, he lived in Liberia through a civil war. He was able to come to the States and go to school and still make it. A civil war where he lost his family and his friends. Could you imagine tomorrow? You turn around and you lose people all over the place? Could you imagine? If he can do it and succeed from coming from nothing, you guys can do it the same thing. Unlock those dreams. All right? Now, we have a question here. It's from Yellow. Yellow? Go ahead. I'll take one question real quick.
Does that show a sign of leadership?
Oh.
Very good. Oh, this?
Yeah.
Very good question. Yes, very good question. Well, a good leader is somebody who prepares and plans and takes time to think, right? So it's very important as a leader that you learn how to chart your own course, right? And you figure out what are your strengths and your weaknesses, right? And make sure now you start working on what you're weak on and collaborating with people who have strengths in those areas. But as you look forward into your future, you continue to build new skill sets and continue to move forward. So yes, I totally agree to that. And that's a very, very good question.
Yes. Thank you for the question.
Any other questions?
Don't be shy.
Okay.
Good.
Oh! Okay, Blue?
Did you have a hard time during that stage of your life?
Oh, did I have?
Did you have a struggling time?
Yeah. It was difficult, right? But one of the things that I realized is that, every day, you lose a family member. Every day, you see your mom crying, you see your little sister crying. But the thing about it, you have to be tough, right? And I had to listen to my mom. I respected my parents, right? And I started appreciating them more. No joke, it was tough, but it's not different from you guys' life. We all have our own struggle, right? So each of us over here, our parents and our families, we go through our own struggle. It does not mean that what I went through is different from what you went through, because we all face, day-to-day struggle in our life. So, it's tough no matter what, but what's important is that you remain tough and you continue to look forward, right? And continue to move forward. There'll be people who will tell you that you can't make it. There'll be times when things you're doing are so difficult that you think that, oh my God, this is hard. The objective is just survive. Get through it. It'll be tough, no joke. Coming to Columbia University after my entire childhood not having access to, education like my peers, you know what? Most of those who had the early, stage preparation, guess what? They do things faster, but I understood that if this guy can do this math problem faster, guess what? I need to start early. I need to start preparing myself so I can compete. And I worked on my weaknesses. I worked double, triple time, sleepless nights, and I caught up, and I made it. So I work hard. I made no excuses. I don't complain, but I would not let somebody else outcompete me. I will do my best every day. Because if you guys take time and you waste your time playing, you waste your time not being, effective in charting your own course, there are other students on the other side of the world and the continent that are competing. So tomorrow, we're going to have a global world, right? So you guys, if you are not prepared, the kids in India, in China, in like Africa,
yes,
they're going to be competing for your job. And this is no joke. So if you guys don't start now and start saying, you know what, enough is enough, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be somebody tomorrow. I'm going to be what I want to be. Chart your own course. You're not going to go anywhere. That's the reality of it. So that's why I really admire, like, those of you guys who showed up here today. It shows that you guys are serious about where, about your career and what you want to do in life. It's hard to wake up on a Saturday to come to an event like this. It's difficult. But those of you who did, those of you who are paying attention, and those of you who are going to get something, those of you who are here to get something out of this, it will take you far in life.
Grady, how are you doing? Here we got Grady Ross. She's amazing. She sits on IYC Executive Board, one of the most committed board members. Here we have her in France. I embarrassed you. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Can everyone hear me? All right. So, wow, I don't know how to bounce off of these two amazing stories, but I can talk and explain that picture. Currently, I am a college student. I'm doing my first 4 years. This is currently my senior year, so I myself, I'm a Latino student, went through a lot of struggles, lived with a single parent and all this stuff. And there's like a lot of adversity, as we've been talking about here. But in the end, that doesn't stop me from moving forward into my career. Here, I actually decided to take my junior year and study abroad. And the country that I chose was Paris, France, and I studied in Paris because I speak French. So who's the one that said they spoke French or is learning speaking French?
French.
French, okay. Well, news to you, French, if you want to work in the United Nations or in anything in terms of like international stuff, French is the language to know. You'd be very surprised how many people I've encountered that only spoke French, and because I spoke French and was able to communicate with them, I was able to make a connection, a network, to something that I thought I would never do. I even make friends with ambassadors only because I spoke French, or just talking to people. And
on the radio.
Opportunities to work with, network, and organizations and saying, hey, let's do something. Only because I spoke the language and there was no barrier. So reiterating what everyone's been saying, language, please do learn a second or third language. And aside from French, I also speak Spanish, and I'm currently learning Arabic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Coretti, can I ask you a question? Yeah. How do those languages benefit you from that picture up there? Oh!
Well, from getting to there, actually, because I spoke French, and through the International Youth Council, we've been able to go to conferences at the UN and high-level meetings. So, does anyone know what the General Assembly is at the UN? Shake your heads, no? Are we alive? Pulse?
Right there.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Come on, go, explain.
You explain?
You can explain.
No, it's okay.
It's fine. Well, wait.
She's explaining. Go ahead.
Okay.
Wow,
Very
excellent.
Wow. Okay.
She can be on your Molly UN team.
That's good. Yeah, so basically, in essence, at the General Assembly, all 193 countries that are recognized in existence in the United Nations are present, and this is where they pass resolutions and discuss big issues and topics. So I've had the opportunity to actually go to the General Assembly and other high-level meetings and actually meet with diplomats, meet with ambassadors, meet with all these people. And for the most part, in the corridors of the United Nations, all of them speak French, either French or Arabic or Spanish, even though English is the basic language.
Great, can I interject real quick?
Sure.
Can you tell them about Model UN, and what do you think about actually Model UN being at Huddy?
Oh, okay. Well, as a college student, usually what you would think is you go to class, you go home, you go to job, you go to work, and then that's it. That would be your life. But actually, to have a full experience, and even in middle school and even in high school, once you guys go to high school, there's something called Model UN. If you're interested within the international field, it doesn't matter if you want to be a doctor, if you want to do science, if you want to do mathematics, it all applies, and it's just throwing yourself out in the world. So basically what the Model UN program is, and it's usually in most schools, is that you represent a country, and you basically learn the ways and the formatting of how the United Nations works. So let's say everyone here is going to represent a country, let's say Liberia, for example. Now, everyone will have a partner and will be broken up into different committees as the structure of the UN is. So you have the General Assembly, you have the Security Council, you have the Economic and Social Council, etc., etc. And you all basically learn about the international issues that are going on, let's say food security, agriculture, environmental sustainability, climate change, all these things that affect us even here locally is also being spoken about internationally. And it's a competition, and you start to collaborate and you develop your networking skills, your diplomatic skills. You learn not a language per se, but a different way of expressing yourself more professionally. And it's all about developing you as a student, how to become better.
Great. Thank you so much. Have you guys ever heard of Model UN? No, right?
Well, I advise you guys, once you go to Yeah, go home and Google it, actually. Google it, and once you go towards high school and above, check it out and see, and if they have it at the school that you want to go to, join it or ask questions. Always get involved in school. That is one of the biggest things that has an impact on you as a student. It has impacted me because personally, and from what I've seen, students who don't get involved within their own school, doing activities, doing extracurricular stuff, usually end up staying on within the same state. They stay in their same community and really don't move on forward.
And another thing too with Mali UN, if your school never talked about it, you guys bring it up to them. And you ask them about Mali UN. And if you want it, make sure you get it. You tell them, you tell your teachers, tell your PTAs about, look, we want a Mali UN program at our school. Schools service you. You deserve those services, okay? All right, so now we're open up for Q&A.
Any questions?
Yeah, sorry.
And answer.
Questions and answers. We had a whole bunch of questions. All right, purple. Good. Go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Came from
Liberia. Good job.
When you came from Liberia, did you already know how to speak English?
Yeah. You know, the good thing about living in a global world is that you know, we learn how to speak English, French, and then about 4 local dialects. So we have like other languages too as well. So yes, I was fortunate to pick up some good English skills at my early childhood. Yeah. But again, it had been a while since I was in school, so I had to put more time into practicing and perfecting my English. Like everything in life is not there, but you make no excuses. You work hard, right? Work hard if you want it. If you don't want it, then you go home. If you want it, you show up and be prepared. Great question. Okay. Sure.
Sure, go ahead.
Do you watch BBC and other international news channels to help with your job?
That's a
Actually, yes. I prefer to look at international media. So I do watch shows on BBC News. I do watch BBC News. There's also France 24, France 24. There's many other media outlets. There's international newspapers, international stuff. And actually, that's a great point. If you read up on international media, they'll show you a different perspective on issues that we see here locally, but more thoroughly. So it'll be explained in more detail, and exactly. So you'll be able to see the differences of how the international community, everyone else see Americans, and how we see things going on here differently as everyone else sees us.
You had a question over here? I saw you raising your hand. No? Questions? This is your time. We're here to answer. Okay. You know, I really enjoyed this panel, and I'm going to tell you one reason. It's the information that they have pretty much disclosed or let you guys know about is very, very valuable. And I'm going to tell you something too that's something else that's another treat that will let you guys know about. We have an individual in here who's actually from Nigeria. He was originally from there, and he moved to the United States and came to Columbia University. He is all about Nigeria, and he does a lot of work. As of now, I'm not sure if you guys know what's going on in Nigeria, but it's some security issues. I want him to come up here, and I want him to tell you for 5 minutes, yes, you, up here, come up here. I want you to listen to him for 5 minutes, and he's going to tell you how he what he does here locally and how it benefits his Nigerian community globally.
Give him a hand.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Did we have lunch this afternoon? Yes, we did. Okay. Hello, everybody. Yes, we did have lunch. Okay. First of all, I just want to say thank you very much for being here, and because of you, we're here today. So if you're not here, we wouldn't be here. So thank you for the time being here. First of all, I don't like being put on the spot, but Asha just wanted me to tell you a little bit with what I do, what I do for Nigeria as a Nigerian. Well, I was born and raised there. I moved to New York City in 2008. And the first thing I noticed after 1 year in New York City was there was a lot of Nigerian groups in New York City. But every time they call for an event, it's always a party. So no matter what, once a Nigerian calls you to attend an event, the first thing you look underneath it is, where is this event going to be held? First of all, it's going to be a lounge, or it's going to be somewhere else that it's always going to be about partying. So that made me started what we call the Nigerian Leadership Summit. Now, this summit basically was just a way for us to bring Nigerians from all across the United States to talk about what we can do to make Nigeria a much better place. So, yeah, pretty much that's what we do. But I just want to relate it to what you're doing here today. And that's why I said initially that I really appreciate the fact that you all made it here today. The first time I got involved in developmental work, I just walked into a setting like this. Nobody invited me. I walked in and I kind of liked what I saw. And then from there on, I picked it up until this moment. So what I'm going to say to you all is, there's a lot we can all do together to make our society, our environment, our world a much better place. Each and every one of us has what it takes to start up a project or start up something that can help us make this world a better place. That is my challenge to you today. That as much as all of the speakers that were mentioned here, did we get a chance to read this? No? Okay, I got this from outside, and this simply tells you about all the speakers that you've listened to today. By the way, how have the speakers been? Great? Yes. Great? Very good. So, yeah, I'll come to you. Give me 1 second, okay? All right. So now, before you go today, please get one of these. So when you get back home, you'll be able to read the wonderful things that the speakers who were here today have done and see how this can impact your lives. Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I hear from you?
When are we going back to Nigeria?
That's a good question. Well, actually, actually, when I was moving to New York, I said I was going to stay in the United States for 10 years. So by August this year, I'll be 4 years. So hopefully I have 6 more before I leave.
Yes.
Yes?
How was your 4 years in New York since you came from Nigeria?
How's my 4 years been? Yeah. Well, I would say it's been good so far compared to situations in Nigeria. I would say it's good, but then there's always a different side to every new environment you go to. And so with me having my whole family back in Nigeria, it's really not been easy living on alone because I always want to talk to somebody all the time, especially someone so close to me. But however, it's been great. I've been able to meet wonderful people, like all these wonderful people sitting right here, Asha, Goretti, and Sophia, and all this, in fact, all of you guys. This is what being here has really helped me to do, get to know you and what you do. And apart from that, we've been having a good time so far with what we do, and I hope that this is just the beginning of us working together in trying to build a much better world for ourselves. That's okay? Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I want you guys to understand, we not only have the 4 people here that have experience with this, but there's plenty of more people here as well that have studied abroad, have taken on initiatives, and how it has benefited their lives. I'm going to embarrass two more people, but I just want them to stand up. I want them to tell them where they volunteered, studied, or worked at, and where they're from. Eric Dales, can you stand up? All right. Where are you from, Eric?
Canada.
All right. Go ahead.
I don't think that deserves an applause, but.
And where do you work at? Tell us about it.
I work at South News, which is a news media platform at the UN. What we do is we share different experiences and good things that different countries are doing around the world to help achieve what are called the Millennium Development Goals. I don't know if Asha or any of the other panelists have mentioned them. The Millennium Development Goals are a set of goals that the United Nations set out, including environmental sustainability, so climate change, maternal health, youth, primary education, and what we do is we try to share that information with everybody who can look at South News to see what countries that you might not hear about otherwise are doing towards development. So that's what I do right now. Other than my position with the International Youth Council, I help fundraise for our different chapters all over the world. And yeah, I've done a lot of traveling. I studied in Australia for a couple of years. I worked in Thailand with refugees. And the one thing that I would say to all of you is that the best life experience that you can have is traveling, is meeting different people, is seeing different cultures, trying different food. You're going to have a great time doing it, and you're going to learn a lot about yourself and other people. So that's my number one piece of advice, is get out in the world, educate yourself. So don't always believe what you see in the news. Get out there and see it for yourself. And trust me, that's the best life experience that you can have. So.
Thank you, Eric. Now, as we have another panelist who's walking up here, Samori Pennant, he's going to tell you how he learned Spanish. Come up here, Samori. No, come up here. How he learned Spanish in Ecuador. All right? But in the meantime, as he's walking up here, I want Ijoma to stand up. I want you to tell me, where did you go in 2010 and why?
During the time of rescue and recovery to assess how young people were dealing with the tragic earthquake that struck in Haiti. So being from Brooklyn and being here with you guys this morning, I just want you guys to understand that your dreams are achievable. I'm from Newkirk Avenue. Any of y'all know the neighborhood, you know that it's that's like the center of where all the bad things happen in this community. And if I can come from there and be here to talk to you guys today, I think anything is possible. With the International Youth Council, we participated and organized the Youth Assembly at the UN. We don't have youth as young as you guys a part of that, but I think that's something that we can definitely work towards as a younger people, because you guys are definitely receptive. I've heard a lot of great questions coming from you. So just keep up the good work, stay motivated, stay positive, and know that you can do anything you put your mind to.
All right, so our last and final panelist for this Think Global, Act Local, he came all the way down here from Upper Bronx, Westchester area. His name is Samori Pennant. He actually learned Spanish, and he's Jamaican blood and learned Spanish, and he's going to tell you how that has benefited his life as of now, his career. Now, Samori, I got pictures up here where I'm going to embarrass you, right? No, right. And I want you to refer to these pictures as you're talking to these kids on what were you thinking at that time. What did you learn from them and how that's benefited you today?
All right. So just to reintroduce myself again, my name is Samori Pennant. I'm 27 years old. And these pictures that are on display up here, you see me with some children. That was in Ecuador. That was like just when I was finishing college. I did a volunteer job in Ecuador. Does anybody know where Ecuador is? Yes. All right. It's far away. Yeah, but it's right. It's in South America. Yeah. So yeah, basically, I was just gonna speak a little bit about how I have been thinking globally throughout my life. For me, it's really all about, like, I know that I had an interest in learning languages. You know, right now I speak, besides English, of course, I speak Spanish and Portuguese. And I've been able to learn through just traveling. But more importantly, the way in which I've acted locally on it was that, you know, I apply my knowledge of languages to the work that I do here in New York. You know, as everybody knows, I mean, here in New York, we find, like, we have people from all over the world, you know. I'm Jamaican background, you know, I'm sure, you know, everyone, we're in Brooklyn, so there must be some Jamaicans in here. You raise your hand, Jamaican? All right, all right. You know, so, and, you know, we have neighbors that are from Asia, from Europe, from Africa, you know. So it's, here in New York, it's a very diverse place to live, and that's a wonderful thing. Because, you know, we can learn from each other, and we can just apply knowledge of different people's cultures in our everyday life. I wanted to go on and say that, you know, throughout my life, I felt as though I've always been in a mixed up community. You know, like when I was your age, I was born and raised in Uptown Manhattan, and it was predominantly a Puerto Rican neighborhood. And so I grew up just hearing Spanish all the time. I didn't understand it, but I grew up listening to it. And, you know, the music and just everything, you know. So it's like, for me, it was always in my mind, this is something that I wanted to learn. I wanted to, you know, be able to communicate with others. Like, I understood from a very young age that we don't all speak the same language. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know, you have anything?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What did you exactly learn from these kids here, and how old are they?
All right, well, I was doing a volunteer job in Ecuador, and I was basically like an English teacher to a lot of these kids. They were anywhere from probably 4 years old to 11 years old. And, you know, I just did a lot of activities with them. We played sports. You know, I taught them, like, you know, little stuff in English, because obviously it's very hard for them, you know. But they taught me, you know, they taught me to just...
More than hola?
Yeah, more than hola, yeah.
Okay.
More than hola and como estás. You know, they taught me a lot of things. They live a very different life over there. These children, they're actually indigenous children, and they live sort of like the Native Americans in America. You know, so it's like, you don't, when I was with them, you didn't see cars, you didn't see kids playing video games, none of that. You know, so I had the opportunity to really spend time with them and just do simple things, and just really concentrate on, you know, me helping them, and, you know, they really did a lot to help me, like I said, you know, just conversation, just little things.
But, last question.
Yeah.
Can you describe this picture here?
That picture right there, that's
something you don't see in New York.
That's the backyard of the host family where I was, and they have some crops back there. I don't know if you can see them, but, you know, I had a helping hand in planting some corn and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, it's like a mountainous, hilly area in Quito, Ecuador, and that's it. You know, I thought it was a beautiful scene, so I just took a picture over there.
Thank you, Sormori. That was so amazing. Any questions for Eric, Samori, Bianca? Oh, right.
Richard.
Sorry.
Richard.
Richard, yeah.
That picture, right? How can it be a backyard when there's lots of buildings behind it?
Oh, those are houses, but, you know, I'm standing in the backyard, though. Yes, yeah. Good question, man. All right.
Go ahead.
What kind of crops did you grow?
Oh, well, I was helping them with some corn and some other stuff. I don't really remember, but, you know, just corn. That's all I remember. Corn. Next question.
Next question?
Am I correct? That's Ecuador, right?
Yes.
Okay. I've traveled, but I've traveled in what one considers a safe place, right? And I've had friends who traveled to Ecuador, so I just wanted to ask, how safe is it? Do you worry about anything surrounding that I normally hear about in countries like Ecuador and South America? You know, just, is there a danger factor at all?
There is. There absolutely is. I'm a little bit of a daredevil, you know. But the thing is, the wonderful thing about going into developing countries right now is that the fact that there is that element of people are trying to, you know, make developments happen, and there are really a lot of volunteer services that are looking for, you know, people from other countries to come in and lend a helping hand. So it's like, if you're looking to do something like that, you know, any sort of volunteer work where you travel, it's really just a matter of getting involved in a program. And I mean, they would make sure that, you know, things are safe for you or whoever would want to, you know.
Okay, we're running out of time, so can I take one last question? Go ahead. Oh, no. All right, two.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't even get to the Portuguese part. So basically, as I progressed, you know, with the Spanish language, you know, it's like I really had to use a lot of Spanish in my career. I am a child's case manager. I just, you know, I loved it. It's like I picked up on it so well, and I really liked the language. I took some time off from work, probably like about 5 to 6 months, and I traveled to Brazil. Does anyone know where Brazil is? Any kids know? That's in South America as well. So yeah, I was there, I studied, and I came back home, used the Rosetta Stone program. Has everyone heard of Rosetta Stone? All right.
Oh, right. It's
a good program. If you want to learn language, it's a good program. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, just between traveling and using the internet, using computer programs, it works. It definitely works.
Can you mention YouTube as well, right?
YouTube work, yeah, you know, because it's like on the internet, there's so many resources. People will try, you know, people have set things up to help you. You know, there are a lot of good websites. YouTube is a good website. Just anything that's interactive, anything where you can listen. And, you know, if you could even speak back, like with the Rosetta Stone, it's great. It works very well.
Great. You clap it, Samori. Okay, we're running out of time here, but Samori, thank you so much for your remarks, and thank you for the rest of the panelists and the ones I just randomly select as well. I'm sorry you guys were in those seats, but I had to embarrass you because I want these kids to know what kind of opportunities you have out there and how it's benefited you. Now, the last thing is, oh Lord, sorry. The world is yours, like Nas said, right? I don't know if you guys know that question. I mean, that song. You might have been 2 years old. Oh, you know the song. All right. All right. So remember, the world is yours. Go out there and conquer it. Utilize these people here, and I'm pretty sure they'll give you contacts on any of the stuff they talked about. You can contact them as well. Utilize them. Thank you so much. Yeah.